What is the best part about singing? What does it do to you when you're on stage, when there's an audience? Can you kind of describe what goes through your veins, you might say?
Well, I was watching my footage from my tour that I did in the beginning of the year of
Hmm.
Japan, Taipei, Australia, and Hawaii. And I did this little thing in a club last night. And when I was watching the old footage, I was like, not old, it's from last year, but I was like, that's really incredible when I'm in good voice, when I feel good about what I'm doing. Because there's another whole set of drama when I'm not in good voice. Because then I just hate being on stage. I'm like, oh, get me off.
I can imagine.
But when I'm in good voice and I'm singing, it's like one of the best feelings in the world. And watching that the other day, I was thinking, I wish I could really do this and not have all the drama that goes along with it. Like, it would be so cool if I could just do a tour and also live, like, also, have a life at the
Yeah.
same time, because it's a great feeling, and it's a release, a release of emotion, a creative release. And it's great to see people singing your songs back to you. Those are, for the most part, all lyrics that I wrote, melodies that I came up with. And that's, a gift to see that, to see people in other countries all around the world who don't even speak the same language singing the song.
Must be weird too.
It is.
And what I always, when I'm at concerts and the artist comes on stage and the whole crowd goes, woo, I'm like, that must be so terrifying when you're standing there. Do you have that too when you first go on a stage? Is that like the worst moment?
Yeah, that's why I don't like doing things where you just sing 2 songs and then you're done, or 1 song, because you don't get a chance to get into the flow of stuff. Like when I'm doing a concert, I always do the hardest song. I do emotions first because I have to hit all the high notes. So I get that out of the way. Once that's done, I'm like, okay, now, 3 songs into it, I'm relaxed and I'm cool. But when I'm about to walk on stage and it's the anticipation and it's the crowd and it's quiet and but then it's like frenzied out there, like it's quiet and it's frenzied. That's the part where my stomach is like, a little bit butterflyish, no pun intended.
So you're like great singer, doing movies, and also you had the label. Are you going to do anything else with that on that direction?
Well, I'm not going to do a label thing for a while because the way that situation was, it wasn't necessarily what I would do if I were to set something up for myself. So when and if I do it, it will be done in another way. So right now, I don't have the time for that kind of thing.
Don't have the time.
I don't have the time to barely go out to eat.
Because it keeps going and it keeps going.
Exactly.
No, I can imagine that. But you're still very relaxed about that, and it's really cool to see that.
Oh, thank you.
It's a relief for me too, because we're here on the end of the day, and you're always like, oh, I hope everything goes well. It's the end of the day, a long day.
I know you're waiting, and it's a drama for you too. So
no, it's not a drama. I'm just always curious what's going to happen.
Really?
Yeah. But about what is like your favorite songwriter that you might work with very well? Do you have one of those?
Favorite songwriter, like that I've worked with before?
That you want to work with, that you have worked with before?
Who's my favorite?
Or a favorite?
One person who's very easy to write with is Babyface because he's quick. Like we're similar in that way. We both come up with melodies very quickly and stuff. He's a good one to write with. I've written a lot of stuff with Walter Afanasieff that I like. But the thing is like whoever's if someone's a great piano player, I can write with them. Because what I do is I hear the chords in my head, and the quicker they are on the keyboards at hearing what I'm hearing in my head, then the better we'll get along as writers. Because then I take it and do the lyrics, by myself. But what Kenny Babyface is someone who I would write lyrics with also. Like a lot of times the people who are the best, like piano, like Walter and I don't write lyrics together. That's not what we do. It'd be cool if I could find someone who I could also collaborate, on the lyrics with, because I really don't do that very much.
Because that's why I asked the question, because it seems to me that it's very hard to work with somebody, because writing lyrics, making songs, it's not a very computerized thing, it just pops up, I think. So I'm trying to imagine, like, when you're in a room with Babyface, you sit down and you say, okay, let's make a song. Is that really how it goes? You just sit down?
With him, definitely. he's one of those very versatile people that you could just be like, okay, I want to do something, in this vein. Let's do a mid-tempo, minor-y kind of ballad. All right. And start fiddling around. I'll start singing something. He'll start singing. We'll both. That he's really quick like that. If I don't know somebody, I have to learn their flow, and I have to see how well they play. I have to see, how well we click together. Because the reason that I usually do collaborate on the music is because the melodies and the ideas that come into my mind, I hear the chords, and so I have to explain to the person if they're not playing the chord right. I have to like sing the chord to them. And a guy said to me the other day, he's like, no one ever sang out a chord to me and told me what to play. I'm like, that's how I do it. Because by the time I come up with playing the chord, I lose the idea that I had because I'm not good. I'm not a good piano player. That's why I like collaborating with someone that's a really good player. But lyrics, I really don't have someone that I found that I really, really enjoy writing lyrics with. But like on the last album, Butterfly, those lyrics came to me mostly very quickly because, with a few exceptions, because they were about personal experiences. Like some songs on that album are to a T about like an experience, or how I was feeling about my life, or a sincere emotion about something within myself. So it's not just like, okay, here's love song
Let's write
number
something down.
whatever. That past album, Butterfly, was just one of those things that everything really applied to my life for the most part.
Isn't that scary sometimes? Because I got my emotions and my feelings, and if I want to share them, I share them. If I
Right.
don't want to share them, I don't want to share them.
Right.
But you write a song about your emotions. That's very personal, and you're already so much in the spotlight. So, do you prefer writing songs that are further away from you, or do you don't mind if they're very close?
I like them to be close because then they're more sincere and they come to me quicker. Like I wrote songs in the past. I've always written love songs, but now I think people analyze them more. You know what I mean? And they're more like, there are some songs like Love Takes Time where it was just like, okay, not to belittle the song, but it was just like, okay, I want to write, a love song,
Yeah.
But then there's a song like Butterfly, which was much more personal to me, or a song like what else on this album? The Butterfly album, Close My Eyes, which is really, I started writing it 4 years ago. I wrote the first verse. Then I finished it 4 years later. And
Really?
the day I finished the album, I wrote the last verse. And it really encompassed like my life and what I was going through. And it's basically about like me from a little girl till everything I went through, 2 years ago, which was very well documented. We don't have to get into that, but like it goes, it's like a journey, of my life. So I prefer to write those kind of things.
And why did you choose to do Sweetheart?
I did
Why that
Sweetheart.
song?
Well, it was Jermaine's album, first of all. He asked me to do a song with him. So I figured, all right, he wants me to do like an interlude or something. So I was like, okay. But no, he's like, nah, we got to do a song. So I'm like, okay, let's do a remake. He wanted me to write a new song, but I'm like, Jermaine, I don't have time because I was doing a million things. So I'm like, let's just do a remake. So I said, how about Sweetheart? Because it's just one of those happy kind of songs that I would do. And also when I was in school, I used to get ready, like in the mirror, putting on my lipstick, listening to that song, like, getting ready for school. That's what that reminds me of. So.
That's why you picked that one.
Yeah, and it's pretty easy to sing.
It's pretty easy to say?
It's not like, it's not like a stellar vocal performance or whatever. I didn't have that much time, so.
I think people forget that sometimes, that song can be hard for you too to sing.
Yeah, definitely.
It's funny to hear you say, oh, that's an easy song to sing.
Well, like that's a song that I could just pretty much sing whatever. It doesn't require that much, technique. Not to belittle the song. Again, I love the song.
No, I understand what
Some
you
of the
mean.
most the simplest songs are people's favorites. You know what I mean? Because they're easy to sing. They're easy to sing along with.
And what about that video and videos in general? Are you really on top of making your own videos?
It's hard because that was Jermaine's project too. I didn't have as much control as I would have liked, to be honest. Like I would have done things a little bit differently. And it was Hype Williams directing, who I really like. He's really funny. He's really cool. But he's got his own way of doing things. When I do stuff and I collaborate with someone like let's say Diane Martell, who I did the breakdown video with. She's my friend, and it's kind of a different type of relationship. You know what I mean? Not that Hype's not my friend, but Diane and I have known each other for a really long time. So we're both like, we basically say what we want to do. Unfortunately, like with Breakdown, we had 3 days to put it together or 2 days. Like that's how it always is, and we do that. But you know, I'm on top of it as much as I can be. But like when I did My All with Herb Ritz, I liked that process. I liked giving it over to someone that I knew has great, you know, I know he has great taste and there was a great eye. I know he's not going to put in shots of me that look bad. You know, I could give up the control to him, and I was happy. Like, fine, give me the cut. What is it? Is it approved? Is it not approved? Bye. You know, I like doing that. Unfortunately, I can't really do that with everybody.
No, because there's a lot in there, I can imagine.
Yeah.
And there's we just talked about Sweetheart.
Mm-hmm.
That's another song, not a real song. That's what I wanted to say.
It's a remake.
A remake.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
There's also Do You Know on your album.
Mm-hmm.
Where did that come from?
That came from just because this album is like, you know, #1 songs that all went to #1 in America, and these bonus tracks. I was thinking of songs that were like first, like I remade I Still Believe, which was when I was a backup singer. I used to sing it for Brenda K. Starr. That was her song. And I was like 17 and I sang in the background for her. So that's like my first, kind of like my entree into the music business, you know? And Do You Know was like one of the first songs I ever sang as a little girl, you know? So I kind of tried to pick those kinds of things.
It must be so cool when you did that, like when you were 17 on the background. Now you're singing that there.
Right.
That must be so cool. Do you think that she's gonna watch you one day singing that? Would that be?
She
be
came.
nice?
I did a TV special last night. She came down and I did the song, and we talked about just what it was like, you know, when I was singing for her, and she just brought back all these memories of things that happened. And she might do one of my songs, you know. Just she's singing salsa now, and she's having a lot of success like in the Latin markets. So she might do one of my songs in Spanish, and I might, executive produce some stuff for her. So it was good. It was really nice to see her again, because we used to, you know, be really close when I was singing for her. She was very nice to me. She really, a lot of people wouldn't have pushed me into the front. They would have tried to keep me in the back, you know. So I thought that was very unique and admirable that she did that.
And now you are totally in the front. And I hope you will be enjoying that for a very long time afterwards.
Thank you.
Good luck with everything, with the movies, with the singing, and with today as well.
Okay, thank you very much.
I hope you can get some sleep pretty soon.
Thanks. Doubt it, but try.
Oh, it'll work.
This is the Music Factory.